I think the Mustangs really need to start thinking about attacking here a little bit. Down 1-0 early on against a South Fayette team that is very stingy on the defensive side. Here's George Slater up top, back to his left to Mindel, who scored the goal earlier for South Fayette, trying to find Slater. The cross was off the mark as Aaron Hansis picks it up there for Laurel Highlands. Hansis with Brown and DeBerry ahead of him, but he's going to slow things down and pass it off to his left to Nick Lancaster. And Lancaster sends it down the field looking for DeBerry, but just found the South Fayette defensive line. They'll send it back into the Laurel Highlands zone, back to the keeper, Jake Mansberry. So the Mustang keeper, Mansberry, who has 10 shutouts on the season, won't have one tonight. He'll need some goals from his guys up front. Here's Lancaster again at midfield, sending it up, looking for a running Gesso for that tough South Fayette defensive line. Wins the ball again as Evan Yee sends it down the field, but right back to Lancaster. Mustangs trying to set up a rush there. Lancaster sent it on the far side to Brown, but never got it back in his direction on the give and go. Again, it's sent back to the Mustangs defensive line. It's played there by Ryan McNatt. McNatt trying to push it ahead to Brown, but again, South Fayette winning the ball. Sent high in the air over to Jake Hughes. Hughes now resetting. Looking for DeBerry, but broken up again by the Lions. Numbers, though, favor Laurel Highlands. 1-on-3 coming back. And Jordan Smith didn't have many options there. Just sends it right to Mansberry, who booms it high down to the midfield stripe. Or it's headed by Nick McKee for South Fayette, back to the Mustangs defensive line and sent high in the air again. South Fayette trying to create, but a good play there by the Mustangs' David Sohaida to clear the zone. And you look at this South Fayette defensive line. 3 of their 4 defenders, all section honorees, in McKee, Pruss, and Yee. And now the Mustangs making their first substitution of the game as Colby Tarr, the junior, checks into the game. He'll play up front with Brown and DeBerry. Taking a seat with Sean Monahan on the Mustang bench. And that Mustang bench a little thinner tonight without Matt Weiss in the lineup. Now South Fayette, another scoring opportunity here. On the near side, Brian Coyne, who is their leading scorer with 21 goals. Save made there by Jake Mansberry. Brian Coyne with 21 goals, a junior forward, another all-section honoree for South Fayette, and sophomore Jordan Smith are the 2 men up front who usually make most of the magic happen for the Lions. But it was a midfielder, Ben Mindel, who scored the opening goal of the night for the Lions at the 36:40 mark of the first half. We have 32:49 now left in the first half of play, with South Fayette, the number 3 seed, leading Laurel Highlands 1-0. Gesso trying to chase it down on the near side. It was as the ball was played by Ed Terrell for South Fayette. Headed around at midfield. DeBerry picks it up for Laurel Highlands. He's been quiet in the first opening 8 minutes here tonight. First 10 minutes or so of this game, they're very defensive-minded. They'll pick their scoring opportunities, but they're very careful not to give up. Odd man breaks. That took a very athletic play from Drew DeBerry just to have a great opportunity at the keeper Gedries as the ball sent right back on to Mansberry again. And at the 28:58 mark of this first half. Mansberry back down the field looking for Lancaster. Beyond his reach. Now a little turnover here by South Fayette. And it's sent ahead from Gesso to DeBerry. DeBerry out on the side. Gets a little help from behind. Now the Mustangs try to set up the attack as Ryan running towards the goal with a good look there was Colby Tarr. But the keeper Gedries finding it for South Fayette. And an offsides call, actually, even if Tarr would have picked it up, the goal would not have counted. And a free kick here for South Fayette, as they send it right back down to the midfield. South Fayette triggering the ball in here on the near side. And quickly deflected out by the Mustangs. So Slater reloads, sends it in again. Headed for a moment there by Laurel Highlands, but South Fayette still with control. Nick McKee on the far side. Pressure there by Lucas, knocked out of bounds, but will stay with South Fayette with 19:30 left here in the first half. South Fayette buzzing again, already up 1-0, looking for their second goal of the night. Again, Lucas involved, sending it out of play on the far side for Laurel Highlands. Lucas only a freshman. Seeing some big-time playing minutes here in this WPIAL quarterfinal round game. If you look at the Mustangs starting lineup tonight, only 2 underclassmen among the starters. Those 2, Ryan Gesso and David Sohaida. And now a goal kick here for Laurel Highlands as Jake Hughes will take it with 18:50 left here in the first half. Hughes sends it down the field. And again won by that South Fayette defensive line as Nick McKee sends it right back to David Sohaida. And up the field to Tyler Brown. Brown dances out there, tries to keep it alive. Gesso finds it for a moment. Dances between 2 Lions, and Gesso's loose. Looking up to DeBerry, but broken up by Danny Pruss on that South Fayette defensive line. But a good look again for Laurel Highlands, and the Mustangs a little energy back with 18 minutes left before halftime, looking for the game-tying goal. There will be South Fayette here with the throw-in. Zed Terrell works it into the game for South Fayette. Played back on the defensive line to Evan Yee. Up now to Nick McKee. Back to Laurel Highlands' Tyler Brown. Brown holds here at midfield. Tried a little dance around move around Tyrell, but Tyrell read it well. But the Mustangs able to find it again. Here's Gesso. Ryan Gesso looking for a breaking Drew DeBerry. But again, it's Danny Pruss. Down Lions defense. Not allowing the Mustangs many opportunities tonight. Gesso again on the throw-in. Sends it up top of the box, headed high in the air. Loose here, Gesso finds it again. And a shot attempt just sails wide and out of play for a goal kick with 17:09 left here in the first half. Another substitution for South Fayette as Hunter White checks into the game, replacing Tyler Goodwin. Sent back to center. South Fayette knocking it down. They'll try to work it up here to number 3. That's Hunter White, who just checked in. But the Mustangs involved. Trying to knock it away here from this little South Fayette rush. And Tyrell sending it over on the far side. Now a Mustang goes down. That was number 27, Aaron Hansis. South Fayette winning the ball again. Great header opportunity there for Ed Tyrell. Couldn't find the ball. It goes out of bounds. And a goal kick here for Laurel Highlands. But Tyrell, just as Meidel did earlier, just coming free out in front. But Tyrell unable to get his head on that ball. We'll have a goal kick here for Laurel Highlands, as once again Jake Hughes to take it for the Mustangs. Hughes sending it down the field. Over to DeBerry. DeBerry, another nice move around a defender. Looking up for the freshman Lucas. But again, broken up by South Fayette. With 15:36 left here in the first half. South Fayette continuing to lead Laurel Highlands 1-0 here on the South Union Township Sports Network. WPIAL quarterfinal round playoff action. Knocked out near side off of a South Fayette player. Should be a Laurel Highlands throw in here. Actually went off the back. Number 20 at Terrell. So Haida reloads and sends it in for Laurel Highlands. Over to Gesso. Up now to Brown. Tyler Brown trying to create here for Laurel Highlands. Trying to center there for Lancaster, but again won by South Fayette. Jake Hughes sends it high in the air. Brown a little header. Trying to work it forward here to Gesso, but again won by Tyrell. Here's Tyrell trying to move it up the field. No Lions around, and Laurel Highlands able to pick it up. Brown up for Gesso. Pass too far out of bounds, but actually was touched by a Lion. So Laurel Highlands keeps possession. Gesso, long throw in. Looking for the freshman Lucas, too far. Lions win it back. Gesso finds it again. Tries to send it down to either Brown or DeBerry. Again deflected out by South Fayette. And Laurel Highlands will have to send it in again from the midfield stripe. David Sohaida. Headed again by South Fayette. A little chipper there from Zuklakowski. Back to 13 on the other side. That's George Slater. Slater again back to the Laurel Highlands defensive line. Hughes pressured on the play. Won there by Tyrell. Looking to center. Blocked down by a Mustang. And cleared by Hughes. Out of play on the far side with 13:47 left here in the first half. South Fayette again tries to set something up here in the Mustang zone, and we've seen more of the play in this first half taking place in the Mustang zone, as South Fayette has definitely had the better of these scoring opportunities so far in this game, and they lead 1-0 over the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. 1-on-3 coming into the zone this time for South Fayette. And the ball sailing over the goal line and out of play. And a goal kick here for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Laurel Highlands last year won a preliminary round game over West Mifflin. At the time, that was only the second playoff win in Mustang school history, then lost to Mars in the first round. This is actually the deepest the Mustangs have been in the WPIAL playoffs since 1999, when Laurel Highlands was up in AAA. The Mustangs defeated Mount Lebanon in a first-round game before losing in the quarterfinals. Only 3 Mustang playoff wins in school history, and 2 of those 3 have occurred in the last 2 years. And the Mustangs in a 1-0 hole here at the 12:38 mark of the first half. And South Fayette again controlling the tempo here at Baldwin High School. They have an opportunity here, top of the box. Shot towards the goal was blocked. That was a good opportunity by number 3, and that was Hunter White. Now the Mustangs able to win the ball. Try to work it up to Tyler Brown. Deflected away by Tommy Ignema. And the Mustangs, obviously, is trying to get it down to DeBerry. DeBerry, such a talented athlete for Laurel Highlands, does a great job in creating in opposing team zones. Now another substitution for South Fayette has been Meindl, who scored the only goal of the night, re-enters the game for South Fayette, replacing Tommy Ignema. Ignema, a normal starter for South Fayette, did not get the start tonight, as George Slater made one of his first starts of the season for the Lions. Jake Hughes battling for the ball on the far side with Hunter White. He was able to win it forward, but right to a Lion. And now looks to send it forward again here, and an opportunity from Ed Terrell. Top of the box, sails high, and over the head of Jake Mansberry. South Fayette making another substitution as sophomore Jordan Smith now checking into the game. Smith replacing Hunter White. With 11 minutes left before halftime. South Fayette scoring 3 minutes and 20 seconds into this game. We have not had another goal scored since. As Ryan McNatt looks down the field for DeBerry, deflected out of bounds. Might have been a last touch there by Aaron Hansis. It was, and it will be South Fayette's ball. Sent back 30 yards out, far side. South Fayette trying to create into the box. Looking for a breaking Terrell. It goes right back to the keeper again in Jake Mansberry. Mansberry will boot it down the field. A little line drive there. Chipped up to Brown. Back to David Sohaida. And Sohaida looks to reset here. Broken up by a Lion. That was Ben Meindl. And played off to his right to Jordan Smith. Now back to his left once again to Ed Terrell. Terrell to Meindl. Off to Smith again. Smith 20 yards out. Little pass off to the right and a chip inside. Lions looking for the header there, but cleared by the Mustangs' defensive line. As Ryan Gesso able to send it up the field. Looking there for the freshman Timmy Lucas. Lucas now trying to win the ball for Laurel Highlands. He does for a moment, but then won off the ball by Nick McKee, but the play whistled down, and a free kick here for Laurel Highlands. So give the freshman Lucas a lot of credit. Playing hard out there with some very experienced South Fayette defenders. And David Zohaida will take the free kick for Laurel Highlands. Boots it down the field. Here's Gesso coming in on the near side. But again, the Lions' defensive line able to win it away. Chipped out of bounds. Which way is it going to go? It's going to go over to South Fayette. David Zohaida thought it was Laurel Highlands' ball. Not sure if the referees have decided yet. They gave it for a moment to South Fayette. Now back to Laurel Highlands. And the Mustangs will take it. Ryan Gesso to trigger it in from about 45 yards from the goal here for the Mustangs. Gesso sending it in to Zukulkowski, who sends it high in the air. Aaron Hansis now trying to win it down. Hansis far side trying to create for Laurel Highlands. On that far line, plays it back to Lancaster. Not sure if he was expecting the ball, but finds it now. Centers out in front, but South Fayette able to clear. The Mustangs still on it right now. Brown from 40 out. Looking to send it over to Gesso, broken up by South Fayette, back to the Mustangs defensive line. Ryan McNatt pushes it ahead. Finds DeBerry, but the play offsides. Hands were up. And then South Fayette now will get it on the free kick with 7:49 left before halftime. And South Fayette 1 and Laurel Highlands nothing. We're here at Baldwin Stadium, about 8 miles south of Pittsburgh. And South Fayette now from 35 out in the Laurel Highlands zone. Sending it back to Nick McKee. Sends it high into the box, knocked away. And here's Ryan Gesso finding the loose ball for Laurel Highlands. Gesso trying to come through center, broken up by South Fayette as Terrell is there and slows things down for the Lions. Crossfield pass, broken up for a moment. And now the ball coming loose on the near side. Chasing it down for South Fayette for a moment was number 7, Evan Yee, but he loses it to Ryan Gesso. Here's Gesso, double team, trying to work out of it near side. Gesso tripped up. That should be a free kick. It will be a free kick here on the near side with 6:45 left in the first half. Laurel Highlands looking for the game-tying goal. You can tell the Mustang faithful very involved in this game. I think Laurel Highlands has brought more fans up than South Fayette, and South Fayette much closer to the venue here at Baldwin tonight. So Haida, chipper into the box, headed away by South Fayette, still loose up top, and South Fayette able to clear the zone as Jake Hughes will try to track it down for Laurel Highlands. So the Mustangs, another good opportunity there with a free kick from about 35 out, but unable to capitalize with a game-tying goal. But as long as Laurel Highlands could stay involved and keep this a one-goal game, they'll have a chance tonight. Jake Hughes triggers it in. Over the head of the freshman Lucas. And won again by South Fayette. Numbers favor Laurel Highlands. One back to the Mustangs defensive line. And Zohaida will clear the zone for a moment for Laurel Highlands, but South Fayette playing with a lot of energy tonight as Brian Coyne picks it back up again for the Lions. Sends it off to his right to Ed Tyrell. Tyrell pressured, and the Mustangs win the ball. That's Tyler Brown. Trying to send it ahead there to Lancaster beyond his reach, but it does come free to Drew DeBerry. DeBerry has Lucas with him off to his right. Here's DeBerry from 30 out. Resets. Plays it back. Gets a little help there from Aaron Hansis. Sent back into the box looking for Lucas. And it goes right back to the keeper, Gedries. And we haven't called his name much here over the last 10 to 15 minutes. And I think a lot of that is due to the fact that the South Fayette defensive line has been so strong. The senior keeper looking for his 17th shutout of the season for South Fayette. We have 4:44 left here in the first half. A little contact there as Jake Hughes was pushed by number 14, Brian Coyne. We'll see if we just get a throw in here or a free kick. It looks like they're just going to rule off of Hughes and out. And a throw in here for South Fayette. Taking the throw in will be George Slater, number 13. Slater triggers it in. Headed away, though, by the Mustangs. Great job there from Zukulkowski. Sending it back to the South Fayette defensive line and Danny Pruss. Pruss, though, on a pass that's intercepted by Gesso. Ahead to DeBerry. Look out. Here's Drew DeBerry. Shot from 19. Goes wide. DeBerry, a great opportunity there for the Mustangs. Might have rushed that opportunity a little bit too much. Felt the backside pressure and pulled the trigger maybe a little bit too early. With 3:40 left before halftime. But DeBerry was feeling it a little bit after a great play again from midfield by Ryan Gesso. And you really give the Mustangs student section a lot of credit for coming out in full support tonight. But the Mustangs down a goal here late in the first half. And South Fayette streaking back on the other side. Brian Coyne trying to work around Jake Hughes. Coyne trying to center. Goes crossfield side. And that shot will go high and wide by Jeremy Zora. 3 minutes now left in the first half. Jake Hughes to take the goal kick for Laurel Highlands. Hughes. Nice boot there down the field, but right to ahead of a Lion. And right back to the foot of Brian Coyne. But Coyne pressured by Ryan McNabb, who plays it back to the midfield for Laurel Highlands, looking for the freshman Lucas. Won again by the Lions. And the ball goes high into the air. A little scrum for it to the left of Jake Mansberry. Hands just trying to pull it down. It's deflected out of bounds, and it will be Laurel Highlands' ball. Hansis playing back in the midfield tonight. A lot of that is due to the fact that the Mustangs do not have Matt Weiss available for this game. Weiss picked up a red card with about 30 seconds left in Laurel Highlands' first-round playoff win over West Mifflin. And that red card was very controversial. Many of the Mustang faithful did not feel that it was justified against Weiss. But the Mustangs did not have an opportunity to appeal the red card, and Weiss ineligible to play tonight. If the Mustangs do win, though, against South Fayette, he'll be eligible to play for the semifinals. So the Mustangs hope they can get Weiss another game. He is a senior on this Laurel Highlands team. Down to 1:42 left here in the first half. Ryan McNabb trying to dance out of it. Gets a little help there from Hansis. Sends it back to the 50. And the Mustangs able to find it again. Trying to set up a late half rush here. DeBerry off to his right to Gesso. Gesso from 40 out on the near side. Works off to his left. Gesso pulls it back to Lancaster. Lancaster back to Gesso. A little open field. Gesso comes control of the ball. Now 2-on-4 for South Fayette, but a lot of open field out there. Here's Coyne on the near side. Pressured by Zohaida. And David Zohaida winning the ball away for Laurel Highlands.
Under 1 minute to play in the first half.
Now sent back down the field by Eli Zukulkowski. Right to the foot of Nick McKee for South Fayette, and back to Jake Hughes for Laurel Highlands, who sends it out on the far side. With 43 seconds left here in the first half, South Fayette continuing to lead Laurel Highlands by a score of 1-0. Little collision here, just inside of the Laurel Highlands zone. Ball won by South Fayette, down to 30 seconds left here in the first half. South Fayette looking for a little bit of insurance here before halftime. DeBerry trying to win it down for Laurel Highlands. But South Fayette an opportunity out in front. Is coming free there was Ben Meindl. He scored the only South Fayette goal of the night. Just 3 minutes in. Almost had number 2 right there. Now down to 5 seconds left here in the first half. The ball headed at midfield. And that'll do it for one half of soccer here at Baldwin Stadium, with South Fayette taking a 1-0 lead over Laurel Highlands to the locker room here on the South Union Township Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment and recap the first half. Again, your score at halftime, South Fayette 1, and Laurel Highlands nothing.
Hot dog, meatball sandwich, macaroni and cheese, pretzels, nachos, hot chocolate, coffee, hot apple cider, and many other good things.
Dresser's Furniture of Uniontown would like to wish the Laurel Highlands boys soccer team and their coaches good luck in the playoffs.
We're back here at halftime at Baldwin High School, WPIAL quarterfinal round playoff action. The South Fayette Lions leading the Laurel Highlands Mustangs by a score of 1-0. Your only goal in the first half scored by South Fayette's Ben Meindl at the 36-40 mark of the first half off of a header out in front. So Meindl gave South Fayette a 1-0 lead 3 minutes and 20 seconds into the game. South Fayette certainly controlled the tempo throughout much of the first half. Laurel Highlands had their fair share of scoring opportunities. Drew DeBerry had a number of good looks inside the South Fayette zone, but the Laurel Highlands Mustangs unable to get one past the South Fayette keeper Alex Gedries yet tonight, and Gedries has only yielded 2 goals all season, 16 shutouts, and he was able to shut out the Mustangs through the first half of this game. The winner between South Fayette and Laurel Highlands will take on either South Park or McGuffey in the WPIAL semifinal. South defeated Southmoreland in the first round 4-0. McGuffey defeated Quaker Valley by a score of 2-1. On the other side of the bracket, the quarterfinal round games tonight have West Allegheny taking on Deer Lakes and Shadyside Academy taking on Indiana. Here at Baldwin High School at halftime, at South Fayette 1 and Laurel Highlands nothing. We're back with the second half in just a moment here on the South Union Township Sports Network.
Central Cab Coach USA would like to congratulate the Laurel Highlands boys soccer team and their coaches for having a successful soccer season this year. Good luck in the playoffs, Mustangs. David Hughes and the Sprouse Insurance Group would like to wish the Laurel Highlands Mustangs boys soccer team good luck in the playoffs. Go Mustangs.
Ready for second half action here at Baldwin High School. South Fayette leading Laurel Highlands by a score of 1-0. And South Fayette will be moving left to right across your TVs. Here in the second half of this game, Laurel Highlands trailed at halftime in their first round playoff win over West Mifflin 1-0. And Drew DeBerry netting 2 second half goals for the Mustangs to advance to this quarterfinal round game against South Fayette, and they'll need DeBerry's magic here again tonight. As South Fayette controls the tempo early on into the Laurel Highlands zone, Jake Hughes with a little pressure there from South Fayette's Jordan Smith knocking it out of bounds, and it was off of Smith and out, so Hughes will now trigger it in here for Laurel Highlands. Up on the near side to DeBerry. Here's DeBerry with some backside pressure. And that pressure from Mitch Ford allowed the ball to come free for a moment, but off a nice little pass up from Hansis. DeBerry another opportunity, a lot of body contact. DeBerry got knocked down on the play and no whistle. Play continues. Mustang fans can't believe it. Their leading goal scorer knocked down in the South Fayette zone, and play allowed to continue on. And here's Brown looking for another scoring opportunity for the Mustangs. Up to Gesso. Gesso tripped up far side. And they're going to rule that the ball was off of Gesso. Actually, I think that infraction was against Gesso. It was, and a free kick here for South Fayette, so the Mustangs not getting the early breaks here in the opening 2 minutes of this second half. Trailing 1-0. Jordan Smith on the near side trying to work around Lancaster. Smith looks to center, into the box, but the Mustangs, so Haida is there, sends it high into the air, but the ball's still free, top of the box. Fanning on it up top there for South Fayette was Jake Thomas. Now the play whistled down. And Laurel Highlands will have a free kick going the other way. So things starting to get a little bit chippy here in the second half, and things certainly got chippy late in Laurel Highlands' first-round playoff win over West Mifflin. With the Mustangs down 1-0 at this point of the game, I think they'll be the team exerting a little bit more pressure. South Fayette content, but here's Ryan Gesso looking for a headman pass up to DeBear. Would have been onside, but knocked away by the South Fayette defensive line. As the Lions pick it up here through center. Jordan Smith pulling it back. Might have hit his own man on that send-in opportunity. As Nick McKee will send it over to Evan Yee on the far side for South Fayette. Yee, long kick, looking for a run down there from Coyne. Deflected out of bounds. Off of Coyne and out, and it will be Laurel Highlands on the throw-in here at the 37-12 mark of the second half. It's South Fayette 1 and Laurel Highlands 0 here at Baldwin Stadium. South Fayette with the ball in the Mustang zone. Smith trying to work it over to Coyne, broken up there by Lancaster. Sent high 45 yards out, and now back into the Mustang zone, top of the box. Left footer there from Smith. Right to the keeper, Mansberry. Jake Mansberry dribbling it ahead and now booting it down the field. Over the head of Drew DeBerry. Up front with DeBerry right now, Timmy Lucas, and the freshman Lucas played very well in the first half, and now a free kick issued here to South Fayette. And the calls have certainly gone against the Mustangs here in the opening 4 minutes of the second half. I think the one call that really got the Mustang faithful upset was DeBerry getting pushed down with maybe a clear look towards Gedries. And as he had beaten the final defender in the South Fayette zone. Getting kicked out near side. We'll see who takes the throw here for South Fayette. It'll be number 21. It's Jake Thomas. Right back onto the foot of Brian Coyne. Pressured from behind, and the ball won by the Mustangs. Here's Hansis. Hansis coming forward. But pushing it ahead for South Fayette is Nick McKee. Now South Fayette looking for a break. Headed there by Sohaida. Forward to Brown. But won again by the Lions. Back to their defensive line and Evan Yee. Yee pushing it back to Danny Pruss. Up ahead to Nick McKee. 35-13 left in regulation. Laurel Highlands down 1-0 against South Fayette. Ball headed high in the air. Eli Zukulkowski a little chip. Looking for Gesso, too far out of his reach and out of play. Another throw in for South Fayette. In again to McKee. Back to the Mustangs defensive line. And Tyler Brown. Brown, though, losing the handle. Near South Fayette trying to create. Long shot from 35. Over the goal from Ben Meindl, who scored the only goal of this game at the 36-40 mark of the first half. Meindl, the South Fayette junior, gave the Lions a 1-0 lead, and we've been scoreless ever since. Jake Hughes to take the goal kick for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Hughes down the field. Looking for Hansis. Deflected by South Fayette and won by Brian Coyne. Coyne trying to dance into the Mustang zone. But Laurel Highlands is there to break it up. Laurel Highlands looking to send it up to DeBerry. Back line pressure, McKee there again, freeing it up to Coyne for South Fayette. He'll now settle down. Pull it back here to Ignema for a moment before the Mustangs able to find it here on the near side. Lancaster looking for the freshman Lucas. Broken up by the Lions and McKee. Here's McKee coming forward, but right back to the Mustangs defensive line. Laurel Highlands chips it back ahead, but right to the foot of Nick McKee. McKee around Lucas. And a lob over the goal. too high for any other Lions to try to create a little pressure there with a header. Now Hughes to take the goal kick with 33-15 left in regulation, and South Fayette still clinging to a 1-0 lead over the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Hughes down the field, headed again by Laurel Highlands, but right to Brown. Here's Brown, ahead on the far side. Looking for the chase is Gesso. Able to track it down and keep it in play. Gesso on the center with DeBerry out in front, but broken up by the Lions. And here's South Fayette again, Coyne through center, looking for a headman pass, broken up on the Mustangs' defensive line. Now one of the lines been out of control and losing it out of bounds there is number 13 for South Fayette, George Slater. Throw in for Laurel Highlands, Jake Hughes to take it.
Throw for the Mustangs is taken by number 11, Jake Hughes.
Hughes sends it high into the air. Chipped looking for the freshman Lucas. Couldn't find it. One back though to the Mustangs Lancaster. Off to his left to Hansis. Keeps it in play. No. The call from the near side of the ball was over the line. It was close. The Mustangs didn't like it. But it actually might have been out of play. Here's Coyne back on the other side for South Fayette. Deflected by a Mustang. Comes loose near side out of bounds. The last touch, they're going to say, I had to have been last touch by Laurel Highlands. As it was deflected out by the Mustangs, and maybe we're going to get an overrule here. We will. So maybe off that deflection, it was last touch by a South Fayette player going out. We're high above Baldwin High School Stadium. Obviously, those closer to the action had a better view of it. Another chip out. Again, going Laurel Highlands' direction. As every possession in this 1-0 game, so crucial. Drew DeBerry trying to go around 3 Lions. Unable to find it out in front. As he clears the zone again for South Fayette, but right back to the Mustangs of the 50s. They'll hide another chip back in. Header from DeBerry. Looking for help on the far side. Gesso is there trying to win it down, but knocked away again by Evan Yee. Frees it up to Coyne. Coyne is trying to chip it ahead to Jordan Smith, but won again by the Mustangs. Big collision there. Gesso might have got kicked in the face. He did. And we'll see if we get a card issued here or just a case of 2 players going for the ball. Gesso is down for Laurel Highlands. And we'll take a quick injury timeout here on the South Union Township Sports Network.
Dr. Limitowski of Uniontown would like to wish the Laurel Highlands boys soccer team good luck in the playoffs. Congratulations to the Laurel Highlands boys soccer team and their coaches for having a great soccer season. Good luck in the playoffs, Mustangs. From Tim Mahoney. Dresser's Furniture of Uniontown would like to wish the Laurel Highlands boys soccer team and their coaches good luck in the playoffs.
Ryan Gesso now walking off the field under his own power. That's good news, and I expect to see him back into the game very soon. Colby Tarr will be checking into the game,
Number 16.
replacing Ryan Gesso, and also checking in for Laurel Highlands, Garrett Kopich. Kopich only a sophomore. So Gesso getting dinged up. It appeared to us that he might have taken a foot to the face. But expect to see him back out of the field soon. The Mustangs need him out there. Colby Tarr, though, did play well in the first half when he was inserted on the front line. Now we'll get another opportunity here with 30-48. left in the second half, and Laurel Highlands trailing 1-0. Free kick taken here by Ben Meindl. Back to Brown for Laurel Highlands, trying to send it ahead. Looking for DeBerry. And the Mustangs, an opportunity to create. Tar looking for the chip ahead. Lancaster also there. The one for the moment by South Fayette. Right back to the Mustangs defensive line. Laurel Highlands tries to settle down. Here's Brown again. Brown chipping it forward. Here's DeBerry coming free, but offsides. Offsides the call. DeBerry would have had a one-on-one with Gedries, but was offsides on the play. That certainly had the Mustang faithful quickly coming to their seats. It appeared DeBerry had a one-on-one opportunity with Gedries and an opportunity to tie things up. And we talked about Gesso not being out of the game for long. Well, he's getting set to check in at the next stoppage. South Fayette with the ball now in the Laurel Highlands zone. George Slater up top. Slater's shot from 30 goes wide. And now Gesso back in for Laurel Highlands. And checking in for South Fayette, a pair of players, Tyler Goodwin, number 10, and Ben Kennewell, number 15. Hughes will take the goal kick with 29:15 left here in the second half. And South Fayette leading Laurel Highlands 1-0. And now Hughes to take the kick. Sends it down the field on the far side. And a whistle. An infraction there against the Mustangs and a free kick for South Fayette. Again, our crew tonight, Andy Mannion, Jack Barley, who wanted us to point out to you that he's a University of Pittsburgh graduate, and Morgan Fouts. And taking the free kick here for South Fayette is Ben Meindl. It's a low one down the field. Chipped there by Brown. Ahead to Gesso, trying to save it far side. Couldn't keep it in. And another throw in for South Fayette with 28-19 left here in the second half, and South Fayette continuing to lead 1-0. Another substitution for the Lions as Tommy Ignema checks into the game for George Slater. Throw in. Controlled for a moment by Brown before he's pressured by South Fayette, and an opportunity here for the Lions. Coyne was trying to dance in, but winning it away for Laurel Highlands was Zukulkowski. But the Lions staying with some pressure. Mustangs defensive line now sending it out of play on the far side. As Ben Kennewell will throw it in here for the Lions. Nick McKee into the box and bounced on to Mansberry. Now Mansberry settles things down. It's a 1-0 lead for South Fayette over Laurel Highlands here in this WPIAL quarterfinal round game at Baldwin High School. Lancaster chip up looking for DeBerry. Lancaster now resetting, pushing it ahead. Over to Brown. Chipped ahead, though, by South Fayette's McKee. High into the air. Tar is there for Laurel Highlands. Backside pressure coming from Tyler Goodwin. Goodwin goes down. Tar wins the ball for Laurel Highlands as play continues on the far side up to Ryan Gesso. Again, high into the air. Still in play for a moment, so high to there for Laurel Highlands. Goodwin there for South Fayette. Goodwin knocked it out of play. And Zohaida will trigger it in here for the Mustangs. Sends it in, quickly deflected out. Last touch going out there by Tommy Ignema. Now it's Ryan Gesso's turn on the trigger. Gesso sends it in, headed back out by that South Fayette defensive line. High into the air again. Played with the head there by Kennewell. Ahead to Tyler Goodwin. Through center to Ignema. Some open field now to Meindl. As South Fayette looks to get a little insurance here, up 1-0. Sent into the box, and again one hop to Mansberry. with 25 minutes left here in the second half.
Jake Thomas.
Mansbury back down the field.
Laurel Highlands, Jake Mansbury.
Won there by Tarr. Colby Tarr trying to get around a triangle of Lions. He's not going to win that matchup. And South Fayette sends it right back to Mansbury again. Mansbury now dances out. We'll send it down the field. High into the air. Headed there by DeBerry. Hoping that he gets a little help from one of those South Fayette defenders maybe on a turnover. Not going to get many, though, throughout the course of the season against the stingy Lions defense. And here's Coyne. Trying to get around McNatt. Centers out in front and a diving stop from Mansbury. Great job there by Coyne trying to create. And McNatt held his own defensively for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Now Hanses here on the near side, turns it over. But South Fayette unable to take advantage of that opportunity as Jake Thomas coughed the ball back up. And here's Brown through center. Pushing it to Colby Tarr, who lost the handle, and look out. South Fayette back on the other side. Trying to get into the box, so Haida, though, winning it for Laurel Highlands. But right to the feet of Jake Thomas. Thomas now holds 35 yards out. Pulls it back to Ignema. He's looking for help on the right side. The ball sails out of play, but last touch going out by Laurel Highlands. And Jake Thomas will trigger it back in here for South Fayette. Waits for a substitution as Hunter White re-enters for the Lions. He'll replace Tyler Goodwin. Now Thomas set to go. Triggers it in. Won down by White. White centers, and a slow roller on to Mansbury. With 23:37 left here in the second half, and South Fayette continuing to lead 1-0. Mansbury back down to the 50. Headed there by Ignema. But found again by Ryan Gesso and Laurel Highlands. Here's Ryan Gesso. Gesso from 30 out. Dancing around Lion defenders. But lost it top of the box. And South Fayette with a clear there from Jake Thomas. Thomas wins it onto the foot of Brian Coyne. Coyne now trying to get around Hughes. And Zukulkowski there along with Ryan McNatt. McNatt poked it out for a moment. But pressure again from Coyne. Centers out in front, looking for the header. Ball loose off the crossbar. A point-blank opportunity from Mindel. Almost had a second of the night for the Mustangs. Got a little help from the crossbar as Mindel's shot was just high. Coyne did a great job to create on the near side and set up that scoring opportunity for South Fayette. They almost got the insurance goal they were looking for. But the Mustangs, with the crossbar's help, keep this game at 1-0. And a lot of times after a great defensive effort like the Mustangs got, you can maybe get an equalizer on the other side. We'll see. Over the last 5 minutes or so, it's been South Fayette, though, controlling the tempo. Here's Hanses, pressured. Scrum the ball. Hanses trying to track it down, but it's won again by Coyne. Here's Coyne. He's been hot over the last 10 minutes. Coyne dancing top of the box, and another slow roller as his shot attempt was partially blocked by one of the Mustangs out in front, and it's sent back on to Mansbury. Mansbury sending it back down the field, where Evan Yee will play it here for South Fayette. Yee goes crossfield on the near side. Right to Hanses for Laurel Highlands. Hanses sends it back down, looking for DeBerry. Finds DeBerry for a moment, but DeBerry unable to control in the South Fayette zone as McKee again clears. Right back to Hanses. Hanses dancing out there, trying to win it for the Mustangs. Play continues. Hanses stays on it. Chipped ahead again to DeBerry. And a whistle away from the ball. And a handball. So one of the Mustangs must have touched the ball with their hand. Handball the call. And a free kick for South Fayette. Taking it here for South Fayette, Ben Meindl. South Fayette about to make 3 substitutions. Laurel Highlands about to bring Lucas back into the game. This free kick sent into the box, coming loose right out in front. Mansbury able to find the ball. So a shot taken from about 65 yards out. Trying to set up a deflection, bouncing into Mansbury, but South Fayette again very close to getting the insurance goal they've been looking for. Laurel Highlands looking for the equalizer right now. And they have the ball at midfield for a moment, just chipped ahead. Right onto the foot of Nick McKee for South Fayette. His clearing opportunity into the zone, broken up by Drew DeBerry. And now with the ball going out of play, Lucas able to enter for Laurel Highlands. And the trifecta for South Fayette, 3 substitutions entering the game for the Lions. As they get some fresh legs into the game. As we go into the final quarter of action, 19:45 left here in the second half, 1-0. South Fayette leading Laurel Highlands here on the South Union Township Sports Network. Brian Morozak filling in for John Kazarek along with Jerry Dupay tonight. WPIAL AA quarter round action. Laurel Highlands has never advanced to the finals in boys soccer. Have only 3 school playoff wins in school history, 2 over the last 3 years. And an opportunity with a win over South Fayette tonight to advance to the semifinals for the first time in school history. But they need to dig out of this 1-0 hole. Mustangs knock it out on the far side. Laurel Highlands set to make another substitution as Garrett Kopich will check in at the next stoppage. I don't think they're going to let Kopich enter here, but he'll get an opportunity next time the ball goes out of play. Now off the throw in, Brown sends it high into the sky. DeBerry looking for it for Laurel Highlands. Little collision there. One of the Lions went down. South Fayette picks up the ball for a moment, but right back to Lancaster. Lancaster sending it ahead to DeBerry. Numbers favor South Fayette. DeBerry trying to find it in traffic. The Lions looking to clear the zone. DeBerry trying to get a little help there from Brown. But South Fayette picking up the ball and carrying it back into the Mustang zone. Right back to the Mustang. South Fayette another little chip there, but going out of play on the far side. We have 18 minutes left here in the second half. South Fayette scored the only goal of the night. 3 minutes and 20 seconds into the game by Ben Meindl. And things have been quiet in the goal department since. Throw in for the Mustangs, but deflected out by Mustang freshman Timmy Lucas on the far side. And it will be South Fayette's ball. A lot of great sporting action coming your way on the South Union Township Sports Network. Stay tuned over the next couple of days for the Uniontown Laurel Highlands football game, as the Red Raiders and the Mustangs clash on the gridiron. Gary Frankhauser will be bringing you all the play-by-play of that game from Bill Power Stadium. Of course, the Mustangs soccer team continues on in the WPIAL playoffs. We'll have all the soccer action for you of every Laurel Highlands boys soccer playoff game here on the South Union Township Sports Network. And of course, also coming up this weekend over at the Uniontown, Mustangs have an opportunity here. A low shot picked up though by Alex Gedries, preventing a Laurel Highlands equalizer. But the first ever class of the Uniontown High School Hall of Fame will be inducted at halftime of that Uniontown Laurel Highlands game coming up from Bill Power Stadium. And a banquet will be held during the Hall of Fame weekend festivities, and we'll have full coverage of not only the football game, but the banquet for you here on the South Union Township Sports Network. So stay tuned for coverage of that event as well. Throw in here from George Slater. Sent ahead to Hunter White, and White's roller picked up by Jake Mansbury. So the Mustangs have 16 minutes of regulation left to tie this game. They're down 1-0. against South Fayette, a South Fayette team that has only given up 2 goals to Double-A opponents throughout the course of the season. They're 15-2-2, have 16 shutouts. Only one of those losses was a conference loss. Ball coming free here. Mustangs trying to pull it up to Brown. Deflected away, though, by Ignema of South Fayette, but the ball still coming loose. Players from all sides collapsing on it before it goes back to Jake Hughes for Laurel Highlands, headed back by South Fayette. Action on both sides. And I think South Fayette's content with this right now because they have the lead on the scoreboard. Laurel Highlands looking to set up a break again to either DeBerry or Lucas up front. Of course, the Mustangs playing without one of their better players tonight, Matt Weiss, a senior who picked up a red card in Laurel Highlands' first-round playoff win against West Mifflin this past Monday. That shot from South Fayette going wide and out of play. And a goal kick here for Laurel Highlands. Another substitution for South Fayette. Actually, a pair of substitutions. As Jordan Smith and Brian Coyne, the starting front line for South Fayette, re-entering the game. And the South Fayette team, a lot of depth throughout their lineup. And they've really shown that a lot of their bench members are very talented players out there as well. So try to set up another scoring opportunity in the box. They had a look out in front, but the keeper Mansberry finding it, taking it away from Jordan Smith. And here's Gesso. Gesso losing the handle. Smith picks it back up for South Fayette, right back to the foot, though, of Lancaster, who sends it high and out of play on the far side. We're down to 13:47 left in regulation. South Fayette 1, Laurel Highlands nothing. And now you'll start to see South Fayette maybe taking a little bit more time on some of those throw-ins. Every second so precious in this game, especially with it being a one-goal game. Lancaster there for Laurel Highlands. Sending it back down the field. Trying to find Lucas. Deflected out of bounds, but last touch going out by South Fayette. And Gesso looks to reload. Another substitution for the Mustangs as Aaron Hansis checks back into the game for Laurel Highlands. Checking back in for South Fayette, number 17, Ben Meindl.
Number 17, Ben Meindl. Number 20.
So Gesso to trigger it in. Gesso trying to send it in there to Hansis. Won away by South Fayette. He'll dribble it up to Brian Coyle. Coyle back to George Slater. Knocked off by Gesso. Trying to chip it ahead to DeBerry. Won there by Pruss. Off to his right to Meindl. Meindl getting it around DeBerry and up to Coyle. Check that, it's Jordan Smith. Smith up top. Little collision. They're going to call a trip here against Laurel Highlands. I don't know about that. It's like Smith just ran into Brown. But a free kick here from about 50 yards out for South Fayette. With 12:05 left in regulation. This could be the nail in the coffin here for the Lions if they can get one home. Going to take the free kick. Coyne shot on and in. Getting by Mansberry. That's the insurance goal the Lions needed. Coyne. With 11:50 left here in the second half. Giving South Fayette a 2-0 lead here on the South Union Township Sports Network. A quick timeout, and we're back for the conclusion of regulation.
The Laurel Highlands School Administration would like to wish the Laurel Highlands boys soccer team and their coaches good luck in the playoffs. Go Mustangs! Central Cab would like to congratulate the Laurel Highlands boys soccer team and their coaches for having a successful soccer season this year. Good luck in the playoffs, Mustangs. David Hughes and the Sprouse Insurance Group would like to wish the Laurel Highlands Mustangs boys soccer team good luck in the playoffs. Go Mustangs.
Back here on the South Union Township Sports Network, Brian Coyne picking up his 22nd goal of the season for South Fayette. He was announced as the goal scorer. Took the shot on a free kick off a controversial call where Tyler Brown was called for a foul 30 yards out. Coyne's kick resulting in a South Fayette goal, and the Lions the insurance they need. Up 2-0 over Laurel Highlands with 11:18 left here in the second half. Hughes on the trigger. And again, the South Fayette defense so stingy this season as Laurel Highlands tries to work it down to Aaron Hansis. The one thing the Mustangs could hope for here is a quick goal and an opportunity maybe over the final 10 minutes to exert more pressure, maybe tying goal, but it's going to be tough. What the Mustangs need now in 2 goals is all South Fayette has yielded to Double-A opponents all season long. And the Mustangs need it in a period of 10 minutes and 41 seconds. We'll see what transpires. Brown pulling it back to Zukowski. Chipped ahead here on the near side. The Mustangs unable to keep it in. Last touch going out there by Garrett Kopich. And South Fayette showing why they're the number 3 seed, and they've certainly got it done with defense this year. 16 shutouts. They made it to the WPIAL semifinals last year. Lost in the semis, had an opportunity to play in the state playoffs as well. But lost in the consolation game, and their season was done. The difference between soccer and some of the other sports like football or basketball, where you have WPIAL playoff teams that are eliminated and determine who gets into the state playoffs by how their opponents do in the next round. Well, in soccer, you actually have a consolation game. That's the way I like it. Let it be decided on the field and let the action on the field determine who gets into the state playoffs. So if South Fayette hangs on, they'll play at least 2 more games this year. Even if they lose in the WPIAL semifinals, they'll be back in the consolation game again this season. And for the first time ever, the soccer championships are going to be played at the new Highmark Stadium in downtown Pittsburgh. The stadium built a few years back for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds A-League soccer team. We'll be hosting the WPIAL Soccer Championships this year, and really a great opportunity for kids on a high school level to play at a top-notch facility in Highmark Stadium right in Station Square. The Mustangs down to their final 8 minutes and 42 seconds of their season unless they're able to muster up a pair of goals. Hands us an opportunity, but South Fayette winning it again. Picked up there by Lancaster. Pulled back to Brown. Brown at the 50. Dancing back. Mustangs need some help. Little collision. Both Brown and one of the Lions, that was number 17, Ben Mind, will go down. And a free kick issued here to Laurel Highlands. Jake Hughes to take it. Hughes sends it down the field. Run off the ball by South Fayette. And chip back into the Laurel Highlands zone. Down to 8 minutes left. Zukowski sending it forward. You'll see the Mustangs start to take some more chances here over the final 8 minutes, down 2 goals. South Fayette clearing it out of bounds on the far side. And Gesso to trigger it in here for Laurel Highlands. Gesso, long throw and into the box. Header in the air, loose up top. That South Fayette defensive pressure too much. Hughes, though, to send it back into the box. Needs some help far side. Gets it shot on Gesso off the side of the goal. And out of play. So Laurel Highlands, the right opportunity and the right mindset there. On a little chip in. But Gesso unable to convert. Down to 7:08 left in regulation. As Ignema checks back into the game for South Fayette. Brown battling with Meindl for the ball. Will pull it back as Laurel Highlands again tries to set up here on the far side, but the ball going out of play. It'll be South Fayette's ball on the throw-in. With 6:48 left in regulation. Here come the Lions. Here's Brian Coyne again. Coyne, who scored the insurance goal for South Fayette at the 11:50 mark of the second half. Playing it back. South Fayette now tries to create and at the same time maybe take a little time off the clock. Evan Yee, a little chip there. And finally Hanses winning the ball for Laurel Highlands. Up to Garrett Kopich. Kopich sending it off to his right to Brown. Trying to send it back to Kopich. Intercepted there by Ignema. Ignema now holding. Gets around Kopich and stays with it. Nice move there from Ignema. And he'll take some time off the clock as well as we go under 6 minutes now left in the second half. South Fayette from 30 out. Here's Coyne. Coyne, top of the box. We'll sail way wide and out of play. Goal kick here for Laurel Highlands. See some of the wind starting to pick up here at Baldwin Stadium. A cool night as fall has definitely arrived in southwestern Pennsylvania. Our game time temperature tonight around 37 degrees. And if you go back just a couple of weeks, even to last week, I think many of us were walking around still with shorts on. The guys out on the field still have shorts on. Many of them wearing gloves, and might be a little bit chilly tonight as we go 5 minutes left here in the second half. Ignema on the far side. Over to Terrell, back to Ignema, a little pressure there from Hanses. Hanses an opportunity. Headman pass looking for DeBerry, needs to hustle to track it down. It was over the goal line for a goal kick here for South Fayette. And if you notice there, the keeper, Gedry, is also coming out, trying to help his own cause defensively there and make sure that the Mustangs' DeBerry did not have an opportunity to catch up with that ball. 4:25 left here in the second half. 2-0. South Fayette leading Laurel Highlands. Sent down the field again by Yee. And South Fayette, again, content just running some clock with a 2-0 lead. A scrum for the ball here at midfield. Won by Jake Thomas of South Fayette. And now Thomas will dance and take a little more time off the clock, sending it over to Ford. And up the field again. On the foot of the Mustangs, Ryan McNatt. And South Fayette will knock it down again on the other side. So Laurel Highlands, even if they can't come back here in the final 4 minutes tonight, another successful season. The Mustangs do not come back. They'll drop to 15-4 and end their season. But for the second straight year, they'll be in the WPIAL playoffs and would have won a WPIAL playoff game in both seasons, last year and this year, defeating West Mifflin. Of course, the Mustangs season a year ago came to an end in the first round of the playoffs against Mars after a preliminary round win over West Mifflin. The Mustangs fortunate this year they did not have to play a preliminary round game. Won in the first round against West Mifflin, but losing here 2-0 in the semifinals against South Fayette. And the ball high in the air. Mustangs, DeBerry looking for it. Little collision there with Ford. Under 3 minutes left here at Baldwin High School, and you can start to hear the It's All Over chants from the South Fayette faithful as they'll advance to the semifinals to take on either South Park, the number 2 seed, or 7th seeded McGuffey. Of course, McGuffey playing out of the same conference as Laurel Highlands. Had a 2-1 first-round playoff win over 10th seeded Quaker Valley. West Allegheny, the number 1 seed in this boys' AA field. Here's Laurel Highlands, another opportunity here. DeBerry from 30 yards out. But again, that South Fayette defensive line breaking up the play. And the Lions played back to center with 2:17 left. The other quarterfinal round game has Shadyside Academy taking on Indiana. So you can pencil in South Fayette into the WPIAL semifinals. Semifinals to take place on Monday, October the 28th, with the championship games likely being played on Saturday, November the 2nd. McNatt had it for a moment for Laurel Highlands. Won off the ball by Jake Thomas for South Fayette. Down to 1:41 left here in the second half. South Fayette with the win will improve to 16-2-2. If the Mustangs don't get a goal here in the final 90 seconds, it'll be the 17th shutout of the season for Alex Gedries and the South Fayette Lions. And for Laurel Highlands, unfortunately, this very talented senior class will be graduating, and they'll only return 2 underclassmen starters from tonight's game, those being Ryan Gesso and David Sohaida. So the Mustangs will have a new mix of players next year, hopefully staying in AA. We haven't got the official enrollment classifications for next year, but it would obviously help the Mustangs cause a lot, especially with a young team being able to continue to play here in AA instead of having to move back up to AAA next season. Down to 48 seconds left in this game. Of course, the Mustangs over the last 2 years in AA have advanced to the WPIAL playoffs. They can only hope for another successful season next year with a young team, and some rain now starts to fall. Might even be some snow and freezing rain here in the final 33 seconds of this game as the wind picks up. Now a little pushing and shoving there between the Mustangs' Colby Tarr and South Fayette's Nick McKee. It certainly is snow out on the field. Things getting physical right now. The Mustangs can afford to play aggressive here with nothing to lose in the final 12 seconds. Mansberry sends it down the field, and that'll do it. South Fayette's going to defeat Laurel Highlands and advance to the WPIAL semifinals with a 2-0 win over the Mustangs. Again, South Fayette now 16-2-2. They'll take on either South Park or McGuffey in the semifinals. Laurel Highlands with a loss dropping to 15-4 on the season. We're back to wrap things up on the South Union Township Sports Network in just a moment.
South Fayette Lions 2, Laurel Highlands Mustangs 0. Thank you for coming. Please be sure. Laurel Highlands Mustangs 0. Thank you for coming. Please be sure.
Back here wrapping things up on the South Union Township Sports Network. Some snow falling, and the Mustangs also fell tonight to South Fayette by a score of 2-0. Your 2 goal scorers for South Fayette tonight: Ben Meindl at the 36:40 mark of the first half, getting South Fayette on the scoreboard tonight, and Brian Coyne scoring for South Fayette. Really the insurance goal the Lions needed at the 11:50 mark of the second half. South Fayette defeats Laurel Highlands by a score of 2-0. And again, we have to give it up for these Mustang seniors who have really had a great season, not only this year but last year as well. 2 straight WPIAL playoff appearances for these seniors. Jake Mansberry, Drew DeBerry, who has been the Mustangs' leading scorer over the last couple of seasons, Jake Hughes, Ryan McNatt, Eli Zukulkowski, along with Matt Weiss, who unfortunately was not able to play today, Sean Monahan, Aaron Hansis, and Nick Lancaster. We wish you best of luck in all of your future endeavors. Congratulations on another fantastic season, but unfortunately for Laurel Highlands, their season coming to an end today here against South Fayette. Again, your final score: South Fayette 2 and Laurel Highlands nothing. Again, I'd like to thank John Gazarick, Jerry Dupay, and everyone at the South Union Township Sports Network for allowing me to fill in on a couple of these high school soccer games this season. Had a lot of fun joining you for the action. It's been a great run again for Laurel Highlands, but unfortunately the Mustangs' season coming to an end here in the quarterfinal round of the WPIAL playoffs against South Fayette. This game has been a production of the South Union Township Sports Network in cooperation with Atlantic Broadband Cable, the South Union Township supervisors. And those supervisors are Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Tom Frankhauser. Also like to thank our friends at Armstrong Cable and CUTV, J.R. Wheeler, and Gary Smith. Again, your final score, South Fayette 2 and Laurel Highlands nothing. For Jerry Dupay, this is Brian Morozak saying have yourselves a pleasant good evening. Again, your final score, South Fayette 2 and Laurel Highlands nothing. So long, everybody.